Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I just wanted to make a guide on the Mage, Frost Mage, to maximize your DPS efficiency, and just to show you the overall talents you should choose, the rotations, and the actual enchants on your armor you should use. I mean, just generally an overview on the Frost Mage, how to play it, and yeah, just basically everything on it. I just want to say that Frost Mage is one of my mains. I love the Frost Mage. They're so fun to use. I mean, just in general, mages are fun to use. All three of their specs are very reliable. Fire, Arcane, Frost, they're all doing, each of them are doing sufficient damage. And they're all really fun to play. I mean, it just depends on how you want to play it. How you want to play and what you want to play. Alright, so Frost Mage, they rely on one really rotation just to maximize DPS. And that rotation is fairly simple. I mean, Frost Mages are not hard to get the hang of. I mean, first we'll start with, first I'll want to say just briefly, I'm not the best geared guy. I mean, they're all Warlord season gear, all PvP gear. I mean, I do like PvP more, but just keep in mind, I'm not the best of gear, alright? I mean, I'm 701, still not very good, considering it's PvP gear. I just want to give it to you from a standpoint that hasn't been playing that much, and this is just for basically the guys who had just started playing Frost Mages. Alright. Again, also sorry for the frame rate. I mean, I'm recording, and my computer can't handle that much. It's not bad, but okay. Anyway, getting onto it. As a mage, you would want to have decent critical strike, mastery. That's very helpful. Mastery is very important. You need a multi-strike. Multi-strike is also very important. And haste. So the main ones you really need is critical strike, mastery, haste, and multi-strike. They're quite important. I mean, the other ones aren't really that important. Also, intellect is also very important. Yeah, well, that's basically it. Let's go on my talents. For talents, I'm using for level 15 talents. I'm using Blazing Speed. That's usually the one everyone you really uses. I mean, if you go on any guide, they'll use it. I mean, these aren't very important. I mean, Blazing Speed just helps for yeah, I mean, it's just a better one out of these, I guess. This is your tier 30 talents. I mean, again, Alter Time is usually the one to go with, almost, because it is very useful if you time it properly. It's just hard to time. It really is, because it's a cooldown. I mean, you cast it, and then it'll take a little bit just to actually reverse time. So it's hard to get right on the spot. Sorry, I just burped there. Another one is, a lot of people go with Ring of Frost, but I don't particularly. I tried using Ring of Frost. I don't particularly like it that much. I mean, I prefer Frost Draw. It's just much more easier to use for me. The Ring of Frost was just, it's really, when you're playing PvP in general, it's really hard to, for me to at least get in a good position. For your tier 60 talents, Cauterize is also, I think, the way to go. I mean, greater invisibility is also helpful, but Cauterize, I mean, it's a lifesaver. It really is. It's really helpful. Really, really helpful. For tier 75 talents, Ice Nova. You'll want to go for Ice Nova. I mean, Ice Nova is one of the most important spells for a Frost Mage. So important, so helpful, and it's just such a good spell. It just really is. Tier 90 talents, you want, well, I mean, you could choose Rune of Power. Some people rock with Mirror Image, but I like to go with Encounter's Flow. And this is usually, Encounter's Flow is usually the way to go. For many guides, many people agree on this, that Encounter's Flow, it's just so much easier, it's so much better. I mean, from PvE, PvP situations, I mean, you don't need to, I mean, cast things, and you don't need to stay in a specific area, like Rune of Power. it's just so much more easier to well, it's not easier to control, but it's just easier to have, and it's still as effective. Tier 100 talents. Well, there's 3. Again, you'd want to go with Comet Storm. I mean, I found Thermal Void Thermal Void, I have to say, it actually makes it more enjoyable, the actual spec, in my opinion, because it just speeds everything up. Yeah, it really does. It makes the rotation just feel much more quicker, which I like, actually. Prismatic Crystal. I mean, problem with Prismatic Crystal is it's really hard to get into a perfect position, because I mean, in an ideal situation, you know the PvPers or even the PvE bosses, they're gonna be moving around. So it's going to be hard to get into a position. I mean, this would be, if you're going to use this, then it's probably going to be best for a situation like PvE rather than PvP. Comet Storm is usually the way to go. I mean, it's powerful. It hits pretty hard, and it's AOE. It's really helpful. So yeah, that covers the talents. My glyphs are horrible. I mean, they're terrible. I mean, I'm going to get proper glyphs. But you want to sometimes you want to go for regenerative ice. I mean, that's very important. Regenerative ice is very helpful. This is also helpful. Deep freeze. Deep freeze is nice. A good mage, a good frost mage glyph, and that's really it. I mean, you want regenerative ice and. Ice, Glyph of Icy Veins is also quite helpful for some situations, I believe. I mean, for minor ones, I don't believe there's much. I mean, I just have condensation because, you know, fuck it, why not? Alright, so, let's go over some talents. What the fuck am I on? Let's go over the actual rotation. Just contemplating whether I actually missed something. Quick thing, you always want your water elemental up. Always. Right now he's on passive. Let me just put him on assist. You want him on assist, obviously, by the way. One thing you also want is always keep water jet on auto cast. You just click it, and it'll have that little sparkly shit like going around it. Looks really fucking gnarly. And you really want that, right? Because it procs your frost firebolt, and you need them procs, man. If you get procs on your frost firebolt, man, it does some insane damage. Some fucking insane damage. So how does the actual rotation go? I mean, it centers around one spell, and this spell is so important. This is a Frozen Orb. It's a 1 minute cooldown. It basically procs your Ice Lances, procs your Deep Freezes, and in turn it basically is your initiation spell. If you'd like to use that term. Sorry, another burp. What the fuck's wrong with me? Obviously you want Arcane Brilliance up. Okay. You want to keep Arcane Brilliance up, of course. I mean, this is like a fucking 1 hour on you, so you always want it up. And the way you want to start off is you want to start off with a Frozen Orb. You then want to go with a Icy Veins. Activate your Icy Veins. Now what Icy Veins actually does is it accelerates your spell casting. Obviously you need that once you actually start. I mean, if you're doing a pull on PvE, this is what you want to start with. When it's from PvP, you really need to plan it, I guess. Yeah, right after you cast your Frozen Orb, you want to cast some Icy Veins. But if you do have any trinkets that you could use, you always want to start with that. So start with Frozen Orbs, cast your trinkets, activate some trinkets, cast Icy Veins, and then you want to hit with 2 Ice Novas. 2 Ice Novas. That's also helpful. Ice Novas, they're one of the most hard-hitting spells that the Fire Frost Mage actually has. They're so powerful. I mean, they're tanky, man. They're so good. and at that point, what will happen is your ice lances start to proc. You wanna use your ice lances. Actually, right after you scrap that. Oh, what the fuck's wrong with me? Before you actually use your frost ice novas, you wanna hit your comet storm. You wanna go with some comet to activate your comet storm, and then right after ice novas. So just slot in that comet storm before ice novas. If you don't have comet storm, if you're using something like thermal void or prismatic crystal, you use prismatic crystal instead. But if you don't have prismatic crystal, you'd want to just go to your ice novas, and then your ice lances will start to proc. Use those procs. Deals beautiful damage. Let me just reset this. Deals beautiful damage, and it's basically your main use. But one thing that will also proc is your Frostfire bolts. Now you don't want to actively cast this. You don't want to cast this. I mean, you don't want to wait for that cast time. It's too long. It does almost the same damage Frostfire, and it does the same Frost bolt. It does the same damage. It does the same effect. It's basically useless compared to the Frost bolt. But why do you need it? Well, it's because of the fact that when it procs, it's beastly. And how does it proc? Well, you want to just try and cast your ice frost bolts as much as you can, as it gives a chance to proc your frost fires. And again, this spell, your water minions spell, this water jet, will also proc it. So you really want to keep that on. I mean, it's what you want. Other than that, really, it's, well, that's basically it. You want to just open up with a frozen orb. You want to cast your icy veins. If you have any trinkets you could use before your icy veins, then use them. You wanna hit either your comet storm or your prismatic crystal. If you don't have them, then you don't use them. And then you want to go to your ice novas, hit your ice novas. And at that point you'll be getting Ice Lance procs, which are very important. Use your Ice Lance procs, but you're also in Icy Vein, so you want to also use your Frost bolts, which will in turn proc Frostfire bolt. Okay, so let's put it into action then. Alright? Okay, so what we're gonna do, what we're gonna do, we're gonna open up with our Frozen Orb. We're gonna get that up. Cast Frostfire Bolt. Them twos. Ah, shit. I forgot my threes. Forgot my fucking Ice Novas. No! Keep casting your Frost Bolts. Keep casting Frost Bolts, waiting for them procs. Got a Ice Lance procs. You got a Frostfire Bolt proc. I'm gonna use them, and you just want to keep casting. Keep casting. Keep casting. Wait for your things to come off cooldown. Keep casting. Use them. Use your Ice Lance procs, use your Ice Novas, keep casting. As you can do, I'm doing a decent amount of damage. Use 8, use your, sorry, I'm saying 8. Use your Frostfire bolts, which is what you need. Ice Lance bolts, keep casting that Frozen Orb, getting that Frostfire bolt procs, which are so important. Cast your Frostfire bolts, get them, the Ice Lance procs out of the way. Cast your Frostfire bolts. Your Frostfire bolt procs take priority. They always take priority. They're so helpful. As you can see, Frozen Orb is back on. Cast them. Get them deeps down, boys. I mean, it's really simple. It's really simple. You just wait for procs. It's just fishing for procs. That's really it. Just fishing for powerful procs. As you can see, I'm doing a decent amount of damage. Not bad for a PvP geared. Not bad for a noob. Yeah, and just continuing, just you know, keep going, and you'll be doing a decent amount of damage. But I mean, if you open up well, I mean, I kind of failed the opener there. If you open up really well, I mean, you'll be doing some fucking heavy damage. And I mean, up to the 70k per second. And which is beautiful. It's just beautiful, man. The DPS that what's wrong with me? Frost mages can do, are capable of, is ridiculous. But the problem is, a lot of your spells are on cooldown. So obviously, it's hard to maintain, it's hard to control, and your bursts aren't that frequent. And so what you want to do is you want to use your frost bolts as much as you can, so you can get your frost firebolt procs. And as you can tell, I didn't use any frost firebolts. I only used it when it was procking, and that's what you want to keep it at. I mean, if we wait for icy veins to come off thing, I can go into further explanation, but I can try that again, show you guys another proper one, to show you that it does keep a consistent damage. And yeah, overall the mage is a very good class. I mean, I wouldn't choose anything over it. If I was to choose one class, I'd choose the mage, because I have so much fun with it. Yet all their specs are so diverse, and it's just such a good class in general. Okay, so what we do: open up with 5, open up with F, get 6 down, 3/3. Get ice dance procs. Frost bolts out, get your 2s out, get your ice dances out, fishing for them procs. Once everything, got your frost firebolt proc, get your 6, ice nova, and whenever you can get ice nova, just use it. It is. I just realized my water elemental is actually passive, as I forgot to put him off passive. But I mean, you guys get the point. I mean, it's very simple. No, he's attacking. I mean, it's very simple. You guys get the point. Not much to it. It's very helpful. By the way, I want to quickly point something out. Is this actually shows my Incanter's flow, and if you don't know what it does, it actually continuously resets this thing where it takes steps of dealing more damage, and then at the end it will reset, and then it will go back up again, and then reset. And you don't really need to maintain. It's really hard to get it to like maintain it on full percentage damage as you can, but it's still like good, something to point out. So yeah, it's really it. That's the Frost Mage. I mean, it's so much more in depth, but this is really for basics, you know, for basic beginners. Just want to know how to play the Frost Mage. So yeah, thanks guys. See ya.